the hardcore gaming season started off pretty damn slow. And what I mean by that is typically it's late August, early September, this first half of September that just passed. You get a lot of big blockbuster releases. They try to get all these games to gear up for the heavy holiday season. Quite honestly, it didn't really happen this year. If you actually look at the releases that have come out over the last few weeks, games like Deus Ex, Mankind Divided, it was kind of like, it was a good game, but it didn't really add anything to the franchise. There was no advertisement budget for it. There was really no hype for it. And so the game was just kind of, Same thing with games like Attack on Titan, and, this week in particular, this past week, that passed was really, when you look at it, 2 re-releases of older games, and a new game that's kind of just lackluster. This week I primarily focused on BioShock Remastered, Dead Rising Remastered, and ReCore. If you actually take a look at the 3 games at face value, BioShock Remastered is a great game because it's BioShock, but that's a game I've already played for YouTube. ReCore is just really disappointing, at least in the fact that it really doesn't do anything original or different. The game just kind of ends up a disappointment and not very fun to watch. By far, this week, the game that actually was the most entertaining as a playthrough that I worked on was Dead Rising. At first, when I started playing Dead Rising, I was dying a lot and getting angry at this game, so that people started emailing me, they started tweeting me, they started in the stream chat giving me advice on what to do in this game, and now I've progressed on, and it looks like one more session of Dead Rising and I have beaten the game. That Thursday is the final expansion content for Street Fighter V, so you may say, well, what does that entail? Well, the final DLC character, Urien, who I'm very interested in playing, because Urien was one of my main characters in Street Fighter 3 Third Strike, and I swear he better be a good character, because some of these DLC characters for Street Fighter V, like Alex, Guile, they've been crap. Ibuki even. Crap. They're crap characters. They're not good. It's like you wait for the new character, and the character is a massive disappointment that can't stand up to the rest of the cast. What the hell were they thinking? Okay? Pretty disappointing, honestly, with the DLC releases so far for Street Fighter V. Ladies and gentlemen, Capcom is removing input lag that shouldn't have been in the game. I didn't even know about this until this week when they patched, the big update patch notes and details were released. Can you believe this? Will you hear this? If you've been playing Street Fighter V on a gamepad, okay, you've had the best experience. You want to know why? Because if you played Street Fighter V on a joystick, traditionally, a joystick, what typically competitive players use, because it's known to give you better reactions, more precise controls, the buttons you push on a joystick typically will give you a better reaction than if you're pushing a button on a wireless controller, right? Guess what? Anyone who's used a joystick had additional lag added to their gameplay. Capcom didn't reveal this until this update. So this game's been out since February, and everyone who used the joystick was at a disadvantage to someone who was playing with this. And Capcom didn't admit it until this week. They suck. As a game developer of fighting games they've lost so much credibility with Street Fighter V at this point. Anyone who's played the game in the past 7 months, guess what? None of it means anything. Because you played everyone on an unfair playing field where everyone was using a controller. It's funny. This has the least input lag. If you used a PlayStation 3 joystick, it had like 7 additional frames of input lag. If you used the PS4 joystick like I've been doing, 8 frames of input lag. So the joystick that's supposed to be native to the console had the most input lag. So when I've been playing, I've had more delay than anyone else playing the game. I thought buying the joystick was going to help. No, it actually hurt because they programmed a garbage game. Their dev team was terrible.
So supposedly they're fixing it this week. Wow, after 7 months, every game that I've ever fought was illegitimate. They're fixing it this week, yay! Oh my god, I'm supposed to be excited about that, right?
A lot of people have asked me this week, Phil, you played ReCore once. You played it on Thursday and you never went back to it. Why not? It's very simple, ladies and gentlemen. I'll tell you why. Because the game is not a viewer-friendly game for a playthrough. Alright? It's boring. It really is. It's very repetitive. Insanely excessive loading times. I timed it. One loading session was over 3 fucking minutes to load a screen after I died. What the hell? And the frame rate's choppy, which is ridiculous. In this day and age, this game is exclusively for Xbox One, and I think it's ported to PC as well. And the frame rate's sub 30 frames per second. That's pathetic. That is just... It should be running at least 30 frames per second for a game in 2016. And let me give you some perspective. As I was playing this game on Thursday, the stream started with a lot of interest. People were like 400 or 500 people were showing up to see, I want to see what this game is. Within an hour, the stream was down to barely 300, and then by the end, it wasn't even 300. Because people were like, we're bored. This game sucks. This is just not a good game to watch. Maybe to play it, it's a little bit more fun, but there's not a lot going on in the game, and it's kind of a boring one. So, I hate to say it, do I want to play the game? Maybe, maybe not. Maybe there's something cool coming that I'm not aware of, but certainly in the first 3 hours that I played, there was nothing to really blow me away or hook me and say, man, I really want to go back to this game. And the fact that almost none of my viewing audience is asking me to go back to it, and instead asking me to do other stuff, I'm almost leaning towards the latter. Just skip it, okay? So ReCore, I'm not completely writing it off, but unless there's some kind of a turnaround and people are interested, I'm not going to play it. Bottom line is, if you look at YouTube, almost no one watched it. No one cares. Everyone's like, this game is boring as dirt. Play something else. If you thought that this September has been boring, If you've been sitting around like, man, there's been almost no high-profile new releases, if any. I'm not liking the stuff Phil's putting out because most of it's retro stuff. This month sucks, okay? I feel ya. Not everyone digs the old school stuff, and this year's really been a drought. Think about last year, we had Until Dawn, followed by Metal Gear Solid 5, tied in with Mad Max, followed by Super Mario Maker, followed by like another game. There was like that much stuff within a month that was big, high-profile stuff. Got people excited. They came to watch my streams and my content. This year, not so much because it's more rehashed stuff and almost nothing. Anything that was supposed to come out that was hyped this month was delayed. So, not much I can do about that, right? October is going to be the polar opposite. If you can bear with me until October and come back once the new releases start hitting in October, I really think games like Mafia 3 and Gears of War and WWE, and when I experiment with the PlayStation VR, which is going to be a hilarity into itself, and, you know, Dragon Ball Xenoverse, Battlefield, you know, all these games, I think are going to stack up to be an epic month, but we have to get there, and that's the problem. We have to get through these boring summer months that honestly were pretty damned boring, and now we've got a September that is ending up being pretty flat overall. I said the best thing this month so far has been Dead Rising, and I like it, and I'm happy that people are enjoying it, but it's only one game. I can't support myself on one game a month, you know what I mean? So I'm doing the best I can here with what's available to me, and here's hoping for the best that things can, you know, pick up and people will start coming out again once the new games come out, alright? Last but not least,
Patreon.
we're under $100 to the goal. A lot of people have been asking me this week, gee, Phil, how far are we from the goal? You know, you got about 12 days left till the end of the month. We're close. We only need, like, I think it's like $90 or something like that. And we will hit the goal for September. There will be a Halloween marathon. I've been looking at Halloween costumes. I went out this past Friday and I was looking at this. There's a couple stores in my area for Halloween that are selling costumes. And I'm looking around getting some good ideas of things that I can do for this one. Consider pledging, even if this is a slow month and you're disappointed that there hasn't been any new releases. You're like, man, when's Phil going to put out some good new releases again? We like following him when he plays the new games, and you want to see a fun Halloween-style marathon.
You gotta pledge. Don't just ignore it this month. You gotta pledge.
Okay, $90 to go to hit this goal. We can definitely make it. Just I gotta keep talking about it now in every video so people understand. You gotta pledge if you want to hit this goal by the end of the month. All right.
And fingers crossed that things pick up once the new releases hit. All right, that is it. Oh my God, that's a great burp from dinner right there, right at the end of the video. How do you like that?